A gun pointed directly at his forehead, fired at point-blank range. Any normal man would flinch, blink, tremble, or at least move. But this man didn't. He stood perfectly still as the bullet flew, and in a split second, the bullet split in half. This is the story of Yamaoka Tesshū, the samurai whose mastery of stillness blurred the line between myth and reality. A man so calm that even a gunshot couldn't shake him. In today's video, we're uncovering the unbelievable but historically recorded moment when a samurai demonstrated such extreme discipline, such total control over his mind and body, that he appeared superhuman. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Tesshū wasn't remembered for strength, speed, or violence, but for the kind of unshakable presence that very few humans ever achieve. Let's dive into one of the most astonishing stories in samurai history. Before he became legend, Tesshū was a man shaped by a world in transition. Born in 1836, he grew up in the final decades of Japan's samurai era, a time when swordsmen struggled to preserve their traditions while the modern world pressed in. From childhood, Tesshū trained relentlessly: kenjutsu, swordsmanship, Zen meditation, calligraphy, Bushido philosophy. But what made him extraordinary wasn't just skill, it was obsession. He believed a swordsman's power didn't come from the wrist, but from the mind. And he spent his life mastering something far more difficult than the sword: absolute stillness. Not the stillness of doing nothing, but the stillness of total awareness, the calm that remains when fear arrives, when death arrives, when the mind wants to shatter. This philosophy would one day be tested in the most extreme way imaginable. By the mid-1800s, Japan was being pulled open by foreign powers. Firearms replaced swords. Battles were no longer fought in armor, but with rifles and cannons. For samurai, this was spiritual chaos. Tesshū watched firsthand as the old world collapsed, and he refused to let the spirit of the sword die. He created a school of discipline built on 3 pillars: Mushin, no mind; Fudōshin, immovable heart; Zanshin, ever-awake awareness. To him, these were more powerful than any weapon, and one day, he proved it. The story takes place during a demonstration of sword discipline. A rival officer, skeptical, bold, maybe even jealous, mocked Tesshū's philosophy. He claimed that meditation and stillness were useless in a real confrontation. Then he said the words that changed everything: "If you are truly unshakable, stand still while I fire this gun at you." A pistol was loaded. A crowd gathered. Everyone expected Tesshū to refuse, and who wouldn't? But Tesshū simply nodded. He walked forward, placed himself directly in front of the barrel, and stood tall, hands at his sides, feet firm, gaze calm. Eyewitnesses said his breathing slowed until his chest barely moved. Then he said, "Shoot." The officer hesitated. But Tesshū didn't, and he didn't blink. He didn't flinch. He didn't tense. He became stillness itself. The gun fired. The explosion echoed through the courtyard. Smoke burst from the barrel. A bullet tore through the air toward Tesshū's face. And then, the impossible happened. The bullet split in midair. Half of it flew left. Half of it clattered to the floor on the right. Tesshū remained completely unmoved. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Some claimed the bullet hit the sword at his hip. Some said the officer flinched and fired imperfectly. Others believed Tesshū's posture created just enough deflection. But everyone agreed on one thing: no human should be able to stand still at the moment of death, except him. To understand the bullet split, we need to break it down using both history and physics. 1. Tesshū's blade was slightly unsheathed. Some historians believe Tesshū had his sword angled just outside its scabbard, not enough to be obvious, just enough to deflect. The bullet likely struck the steel edge and split on impact. But here's the key. This would only work if Tesshū was perfectly still. Even 1 centimeter of movement would have killed him. 2. Mushin, the mind without fear. Tesshū trained his mind to remove panic itself. This doesn't mean he didn't feel fear. It means he didn't let fear control his body. Imagine a mind so disciplined that no reflex overrides it. No survival instinct breaks it. No muscle twitches under pressure. That was Tesshū's power. 3rd Fudōshin, the immovable heart. This is the deep, unwavering calm that stays even when death is seconds away. It is the natural end of lifelong training. Thousands of hours of Zen, 1,000-stroke sword drills. Endless discipline, total self-control. His stillness wasn't magic, it was mastery, a level of mastery few humans ever reach. But why this story matters? The philosophy behind the bullet. This moment wasn't about showing off. Tesshū wasn't proving bravery. He wasn't proving physical speed. He wasn't proving sword skill. He was proving a truth at the core of the samurai mind. The real battlefield is not around you. It is within you. Weapons can be mastered. Technique can be copied. Strength can be surpassed. But the inner self, the storm of fear, impulse, doubt, chaos, that is the true enemy. Tesshū won not by moving, but by not moving. He didn't need to dodge the bullet. He needed to defeat the instinct screaming at him to run. That is what makes this story legendary. Yamaoka Tesshū's bullet test stands as one of the greatest demonstrations of human discipline ever recorded. Not because he split a bullet, but because he mastered himself so completely that a gunshot couldn't shake him. His legacy reminds us, the sword is secondary, the technique is secondary, the weapon is secondary. Control your mind, and you control everything. If this story fascinated you, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to support us. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the greatest power is not action, but stillness.